You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real as Roland Martin Unfiltered. By going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com, you can make this possible. All right, folks, this week, Nevada governor signed a historic union law to help 20,000 state workers. Unions are enjoying their highest level of public support in 15 years, and presidential candidates have embraced unions at a level not seen in a long time. Joining us right now is Saunders. He is president of the American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees, and also, of course, a supporter of Roland Martin Unfiltered. And we always got to thank Lee and AFSCME for supporting us. They were the first ones out of the gate. Lee, because of y'all's support, we've been averaging about 8 million views since we launched. We've gone from about 170,000 folks on YouTube down to about 316,000. And so we've certainly been growing over the last 9.5 months.
I knew you'd be successful one day.
Well, I told you we were going to do it. We did it.
You did it.
So just stay in the building.
Congratulations, man.
Stay in the building. Appreciate it. Let's talk about this here, because what is interesting that, again, what we've seen, and I'll go back to really Ronald Reagan. You go from Ronald Reagan up to present day. You had this constant, steady assault on unions. The whole idea of right-to-work states, folks creating the climate where literally if you said unions other than police and fire, it was a negative connotation. And you're seeing in these places where politicians are now being pressured by folks who say, no, we want folks fighting on our behalf when it comes to wages.
There's no question about it. As a matter of fact, the most latest polls show that 62% of the American public believe that we need strong unions in this country to be the counterbalance to the corporate greed that exists and the fact that workers need a seat at the table. That was instrumental in what we were able to do in the state of Nevada, where we were successful in electing a state legislature, both on the House and Senate side, who believed in supporting working families, who believed that unions made a difference for workers. We were able to elect a new governor, Steve Sisolak, who believed the same thing, and he gave us a commitment that if, in fact, they were elected, then they were going to push for collective bargaining within that state for state workers. And that's exactly what happened. I was in Nevada last week and was with the governor when he signed into law collective bargaining for state workers, covering 20,000 state workers who AFSCME is representing. And the key to this, Roland, is simply this. Those who support us, those who talk about the importance of helping working families in the communities in which they live, then we ought to support them. And the end matter is this: elections matter. Elections matter, and it mattered in Nevada, and we're seeing the results out of that right now.
Do you also think you're seeing that because you had so much attention on the wage gap? When I think back again, I'm going back to 1980, and I'm going through the 90s and 2000s. What we constantly heard from politicians was, look, support big business. They're coming in, supplying jobs. We can't have anything that's stopping that from happening. And voters said, oh, that's great, that's great. And all of a sudden, they woke up 30 years later and go on, wait a minute, what the hell happened? We gave massive tax breaks. We gave infrastructure breaks. We did all these things. And then what happened? They got a massive tax cut under Donald Trump. And it's like, oh, we're going to reinvest in the workers. And the CEOs went, no, we're not. And they haven't done it.
Trickle down does not work. It never has worked. Workers need to have a seat at the table to control their own destiny. And that's what unions provide them, a seat at the table so they can negotiate wages and working conditions, benefits, safety and health issues, not only just for themselves, but for their communities, because when workers are organized and you have a strong and healthy workforce who has a seat at the table, that benefits everyone who lives in that community where those workers reside. And that's why you're getting this kind of feeling across the country and an aggressive action that is taking place. You looked at the strikes that have been taking place across the country. United Fruit and Commercial Workers striking up in the New England states. You look at Unite here, Unite representing hotel workers, striking the Marriott Corporation and their slogan was, one job should be enough. The economy right now is rigged in favor of the 0.5% who want more power and wealth at the expense of working people. And unions are the avenue by which you can unrig that system. And that's why people believe that unions have a very strong and important place in today's society.
One of the things that also jumps out, again, as you begin to look at what is happening, how do you counter what took place in Ohio? Donald Trump campaigns talking about get rid of NAFTA. Yet in Ohio, he won by 450,000 votes. Have you and your union comrades been meeting to figure out what kind of messaging you're going to have to send when you go to Ohio, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and Michigan to say to those folks who voted for Obama, but then who flipped for Donald Trump, who might be disillusioned now?
It's about getting back to basics. And it's about talking about the issues that workers care about. It's about talking about health care. It's about talking about retirement security. It's about talking about prescription drugs and the price of prescription drugs. Fairness on the job. If you deal with those kinds of issues and take the personalities away from it, but deal with the issues that the workers feel every single day, then you can sit down, talk with them, and more importantly, listen to what they've got to say, and then react and develop programs around their economic concerns and impact on them, their families, and their communities. That's why we were successful in many states across the country in November of 2016, because folks listened to workers and what they had to say. It's real basic. This is not rocket science. Sit down and talk with folks, listen to what they've got to say, and then implement programs that will benefit them.
All right. Lee Saunders, President AFSCME. We appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Great being here.
All right, folks. Back to that Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment. All right, folks, they're back. MarijuanaStock.org is another great investment opportunity. If you were lucky enough to invest in their last crowdfunding campaign, you know they raised a ton of money in just a few months investing in legal marijuana farms. Those initial investors now own shares of a publicly traded company, and they are on fire. Now they have a new investment opportunity that is as good, if not even better, than the last one. I'm talking about industrial hemp CBD. For those who don't know, the hemp plant is the cousin to marijuana with a much higher concentration of CBD, which means hemp CBD gives you all the medical benefits of marijuana without getting you high. Until recently, hemp farming was practically illegal in the U.S. and heavily regulated by the DEA. However, the 2018 Farm Bill changed all of that, making it legal to grow hemp CBD in the U.S. and creating one of the largest commodities worldwide. They need land to grow all the plants. Now, this makes for an incredible investment opportunity, and that's where our good friends at 420 Real Estate come in. Their business model is simple. They buy land that supports hemp CBD grow operations and lease it to licensed, high-paying tenants. That's right, they are hemp CBD landlords, and you can get in on the action. You can invest in the crowdfunding campaign for as little as $200 up to $10,000. Like I said, you don't want to miss out on this. To invest, go to marijuanastock.org. That's marijuanastock.org. And yes, this is a black-owned company, so you want to try it and get in the game. Back to the Roland Martin.